Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Hey everybody, welcome to show number 600 with a bunch of O's. 600, all right. Show 600 is today, and we've got a special guest. We've got Richard Swerdlow. He was my first guest, though, about 2,000 interviews ago. Rich is on. We're going to talk about his new gig at bulkcondos.com, bulkcondodeals.com, sorry. And we're also going to be on, and we're going to start off with John Crossman. John has a very big effort he's working on. It's to celebrate Martin Luther King Day this week. We're going to talk about John's efforts to get more minority participation in the commercial real estate business. John, high five to you. And I want to recognize today is the inauguration of Kamala Harris, who is a graduate of an HBC, which is one of your big pushes, John. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. We're going to get started with Reagan Mendoza, who's going to take us on our trip to Warren Henry, and we'll be right back with great info you can use to make your day better. Rock on, Reagan. Everybody, we're South Florida's longest running business talk show. That's right, episode 600 today. We got started in 2008. It's been quite a run. I want to thank our primary sponsors, Warren Henry Automotive. When you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. As you well know, up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. Down in the Keys, they sell all their name brands. What they all have in common with, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That includes complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and the 72-hour exchange. You can take 3 days to make sure you like your car. You will. So join me, my mom, and my beautiful wife, Vivian, and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. Hey, everybody. This is Jim Freed. I was just texting one of my partners up in New York. You need capital. Give me a call. The time is now. The money from New York is flying down here, and I'm placing it in all kinds of great deals. We're doing condo inventory loans. We're doing construction loans. We're doing memory care bridge loans. We're doing land loans. Call me now if you need cash. 305-773-6300. Oh, yeah, these are tremendous lenders, and they are white knights. Call me, 305-773-6300. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back, and we're back with a really good friend of mine, John Crossman. You know, John, back when you guys had your 25th anniversary, you reached out to me. So for my 600 show, I wanted to reach out to you, and I definitely wanted to profile the very important work you're doing here in our community. So welcome to our show, John Crossman.
Thank you, sir. It's such an honor to be here with you and with Richard. Good to see you too, Richard.
Okay, well, we're going to introduce Richard, too, now that you mentioned him. Richard Swerdlow's here. He's guest number one. Richard has an online marketing firm called bulkcondodeals.com with another one of my great clients. We're going to talk to Richard in the second part of the show. But, Rich, I know that you get leads and work with people from all over the country, so I really wish you would join in when we're talking about this topic. So, thanks, John, Tim. Let's just set the table now. Your dad was a civil rights activist, and you've taken on the mantle, and let's hear about the work you're doing.
Absolutely. Well, in my life, Jim, and I'm so grateful that I live in today's era, I really don't meet racist people. I'm not in situations where I hear people say crazy racist things, but we do live in a society where I do hear comments that are a bit elitist, where it's more looking down on other people. Like, I went to this school, and if you went to this other school, you're kind of less than. And so I always caution people that elitism and racism are, in my opinion, the roommates. They're sort of closely aligned. And then the second part is when we think about racism in an institutional way or a systemic way, real estate is a good example of that. Like, we might all say, gosh, the opportunities are equal today. And that may be true, but it doesn't deal with the past. And the past in that historically Black colleges, from their inception right after the Civil War until very recently, none of them offered real estate degrees. Jim, you and I graduated from outstanding universities with outstanding real estate programs for a long, long time. Yes, number one program, but they didn't have anything like that at Black colleges. And in the same vein, particularly in the South, because of Jim Crow laws, we know all kinds of people that maybe their great grandfather or past that who were Black were not able to own real estate. And one thing, Jim, I don't know that if you and I have ever talked about this, we had always kind of hunched it, we proved it through DNA, that my great grandfather was Black. And so my grandfather, who was, lighter skinned, but darker skinned than maybe that white person, that was the secret. It just was never talked about. Had my grandfather been labeled as Black in the 1920s, it had been a different trajectory for my family. And this is on my mom's side, not on my dad's side. So Jim, I'll tell you that there is a part of my family tree that came to this nation in chains. And out of respect for that branch, I really want to invest in the future and make sure that young African Americans across our country are able to achieve the American dream. And just like today, see more and more make it to the White House. And Jim, I will say that I would like to see some of them be Republicans who graduate from HBCUs, but that's another subject for another day, maybe.
Well, John, first of all, that is an insight to you that I did not have, but it certainly does make a lot of sense given your drive that you've had here. And in fact, I think it's a perfect way to segue into the issue because, John, if you were Black, your rollout would have been quite different in the real estate industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's funny. I was on the Black.
Let me rephrase that. If you had been labeled Black.
Labeled Black. Well, I'd love to be labeled Black now. I spoke on the Black News Channel last week, and one of the things I said was I just told that little history, and the reporter said to me, she goes, so you get it that had you been identified as Black, your treatment throughout your life would have been different. And I was like, well, of course. And I could feel the reporter's emotional release that I could feel like she was like saying, oh my gosh, this guy gets it, right? But that's a big concepts. And I tell you, Jim, I'm compassionate, and I really try to be patient with a lot of people who are trying to navigate through this world. And, you also know, Jim, I always talk about diversity. Diversity is not about lowering the bar. It's about widening the net, and in our real estate industry, and, Richard can speak to this, we certainly need some people who are highly analytical, and they're really good in their brains as far as, crunching numbers. But we also need people who are not good at that. They're really good with people, and they really know how to connect with people. They know how to talk to people. So when we think about the future generation of our real estate industry, some are going to come from, well-known, highbrow academic backgrounds, but some are not. And they're going to do well in different ways. So I'm always trying to tell business leaders, when you're recruiting, I'm not saying just recruit from FAMU or just recruit from Howard. I'm saying it's And I believe that if more business leaders, particularly in our state, would be more diverse in their recruitment, they would just find some great talent. Now, with that, Jim, I got some exciting news for you. I know that you're not a very excitable person, but I do want to tell you this. I know. So you and I share many mutual friends. One of our friends is Kelly Bergstrom, and Mr. Bergstrom and I have partnered, and we are fully funding a full ride at the University of Florida Masters of Real Estate for the next 5 years, so long as the recipient is a graduate of Florida A&M. And so
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I funded a scholarship for a person of color a number of years ago back at the UF. He came from New Jersey. So the reality is that we all have to pull together. We all have to work hard. And, what I do is I coach a lot of the people from that program. So I'm looking forward to that gentleman or woman reaching out to me, or non-identified. Boy, am I getting big in my universe. Now, Rich, I want to talk to you for a second. What's the diversity look like on your platform? I know on condo.com, originally you were working with a bunch of realtors to empower local realtors to participate in the national market. How about on bulkcondodeals.com? What's going on there with this type of issue?
So, the truth is we don't necessarily have a diversity program per se, but the funds that we're dealing with, they're institutional buyers who are looking at these assets. There's plenty of African-American investors and funds and sovereign wealth funds and real estate funds that we're working with to provide these assets to. So it's, not necessarily on point for, the work that John's doing in terms of encouraging scholarship work at the university level. But just anecdotally, the professionals, we're seeing racial diversity amongst the funds and the investors that are looking at deals on the site.
Okay, that's great. I mean, that's all you could really expect, okay? If I just wanted to get the feel for it, because a number of years ago, that might not have been the case. I mean, one of the most accomplished investors I know, he sits at the top of Assurant Real Estate, is my friend Dale Burnett, and Dale went to Dartmouth, and he's a man of color. In fact, John, if you want, I'm more than happy to hook you up with Dale. He's very involved in the state of New York real estate industry, and I think will be a wonderful contact for you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. So, John, I work with you in this. I try to mentor a lot of people. If people want to get involved with you and your agenda, John, where can they go? How can they get more information on what you're trying to accomplish?
Sure. Well, they can certainly just go to my website, which is www.crossmancb.com. And that's a very easy way to get me. And they can look me up on, LinkedIn or Facebook. And I'm happy to help them out and connect them in any way they want. I think that what I would start with, Jim, is that we have been living in an era of U.S. history where people seem to think I tweet, therefore I am. Like somehow if I tweet MAGA or BLM or whatever, that has currency or that has value. And the reality is that one of the many things Dr. King taught us as Americans, that if we see a problem and we want change, it's not tweeting that's going to do it. What's going to happen is we have to choose in our hearts to sacrifice, to serve, and to suffer. When we love things truly, we suffer, don't we? And we suffer as fans of our great sports teams. Like we suffer when we have a loved one that's ill. And Jim and you and I have talked a lot about that and some loneliness and things. And you and I have both dealt with. That's a choice. I always say people will say they love something until you ask them to write a check. And then it turns out they like it, right? And so if we truly look at the problem, say, gosh, we want this to get better, I would challenge everyone to sort of say, what can they do? And for some, it's writing checks. For some, it's mentoring. For some, it's encouraging. But it's really finding that place. And I feel passionate about what I'm doing, but I'm really not trying to take somebody to have them do what I'm doing. They can certainly help. But I really try to help people find out where their passion lies and how to encourage them to pursue that in a real, meaningful way.
John, two quick questions for you.
Sure.
One, is your program primarily around getting graduate and undergraduate real estate programs into minority, focused universities, or is it for placement into the workforce? That's the first question. And then secondly, is it just focused on African Americans or other lesser represented minorities as well?
All great questions. So we right now have 8 fully endowed scholarships at 6 universities. We have 2 that focus on Hispanic descent, and then we have 3 that focus on African American descent. We have our guide to commercial real estate on our website. That's free for any college student. And then I have a book out that's for people in the careers, which we sell. But if somebody ever needs it for free, we will give away for free. So it starts with all, and then it kind of chisels in. What I look at with HBCUs is there's 105 of them across the country. I've lectured over 30 universities in the United States. The most impressive students I've ever met are from FAMU. So what I'm trying to do is try to create a link, which is to industry professionals who are like, hey, John, I get it. The only diversity we have is middle-aged white guys and old white guys, but I have trouble finding applicants. And I'm like, hey, their applicants are there, but we have to build the bridge. And so I will tell you this, for the history, in the recent history of America, there's always been white do-gooders who want to help the Black community. And I got to tell you, a lot of times it can come across offensive and patronizing. And so I tell people, you want to make a difference, write a check first, right? That's the first thing to do. It gives credibility. Mm-hmm. So at Fannie and Bethune-Cookman, we help them launch real estate clubs, and we've helped them launch real estate classes. But I'm one guy. So I always tell people, like, in your area is Florida Memorial University. For $20,000, you can endow a scholarship there. And what I would tell you to do is, I'm not pitching you on this, I'm just using that as an example. But what I would encourage somebody to do is endow a scholarship there, and then guest lecture, and then mentor students, and then get your local NAIOB, ULI, ICSC, whatever, MAI chapters to get involved. Pioneering is tough, right? It's tough to cut down the woods, and you might get attacked by animals. And pioneering is tough. Following a path is easy. So we need more people to pioneer. We need more people to push through those hard roads. And to answer your question, it's both. It's getting these students exposed to industry, concerned industry is exposed to them, and then start making steps to then find them and place them. Yes, sir, Jim. Sorry. Oh, you're on mute.
John, I want to thank you for joining us, and I'd like to have you back again in the next few weeks to do it again. Thanks for being on Show 600 and providing the social impact portion of our show. We really love you, John. You're tremendous. And thank you so much for everything you do for our entire community, because it's not just the African American or Hispanic community that you're doing it for. You're also doing it for the white, I don't know what else to call it, the white community, who needs to be sensitized and have this issue brought to their attention, because most of the time they don't.
Well, I'll finish with this, Jim. Was the 1950 University of Alabama football team the best representative of the athletes in their state? It was not, was it? Right? So what you and I want is, we want the best industry. And if we have the best players on the field, we're gonna be unstoppable. And so it's about always trying to find those best players. So Jim, I love you. Thanks so much. I'll sign off. And Richard, please stay in touch. I'm a fan, so thanks for all you're doing. Okay.
John, thank you so much. You're the best. My blessings to you and your whole family. God bless you, John. You're a tremendous individual. We're going to be right back with Rich Swerdlow. We're going to talk about bulkcondodeals.com. We're going to find out how you can buy your bulk condos, who's financing them, and how you can get the deals done with Rich and his team. Right after this, it's going to be great stuff. Stick with us. Mr. Mendoza, you're up. All right, as everybody knows by now, this is Show 600, and that means we're South Florida's longest running business talk show. High five to me for that. Rich Swerdlow is our first guest. We'll be talking to Rich in just a second. First, I want to thank our sponsors who've been with us since 2012, Warren Henry Automotive. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Warren. Of course, thank you to all of our friends there as well. Thank everybody, Samantha especially, for putting it all together. When you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. Down in the Keys, they sell them all. What do all those cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they come with a Warren Henry advantage. That means you get the complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee in the 72-hour exchange. You can take 3 days to make sure you love your Warren Henry car. Guess what? You will. So join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Hey, this is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
And hey, I'm Jim Fried, and I finance real estate deals. Everything from high-end residential homes. That's right. If you need a jumbo mortgage, call me. I'm doing it for foreigners and U.S. residents. If you don't have W-2 income, even harder for you. Call me. I'll get it done. Or I can do your fancy bridge loans. Today I had a call on an $85 million condo inventory loan, $150 million JV to build a high-rise apartment building. And a couple of calls on some bridge loans for land that a healthcare operator I work with wants to do. So if you've got a real estate deal and your hair's on fire, give me a call at 305-773-6300. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Fried on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Fried or at Fried on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Fried1. Now, back to your host, Jim Fried.
All right, we're back and we're with my first guest. This is show 600, and Richie was my first guest. Richard Swerdlow was my first guest when he was chairman of the board and chief cook and bottle washer at condo.com. We're reprising that with his new business, bulkcondodeals.com today. Rich, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Jim. Really appreciate you having me on the 600th show and the first show. It seems like yesterday. Got to tell you, congratulations on all the success. The production values obviously have significantly improved. Your interviewing skills, it's great to see you. And thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Tough following the, John with his social sort of equality aspect of your show, but I'll do what I can.
It's all good because your business is also about creating an equality within the concept of the real estate market, because you're creating a quality of the information on bulk condo deals.
Yep. Because
of your site, people can do these deals that were the unicorn 10 years ago. People couldn't find them. It was very difficult to do. Back in the recession, the Great Recession with the RTC, I was with a company called CondoVest, and we used to buy and sell blocks of condos. So it's a great business. And my team has condo financing for bulk condos. So it's a tremendous show. Please tell me more about your platform and how people can work with you.
So thanks for that, Jim. Yeah, I mean, during the last cycle, you and I worked together, and we actually sold a bunch of sort of bulk portfolios through our site. But the problem was always confidentiality. So if you're a developer and you want to also maintain your consumer-facing channel, you want to keep your retail pricing, you can't let the world know that you're also bulk selling. So this time around, and really we launched it sort of mid-COVID. Probably we started working on it in July, and then we launched it in November. But the idea really is that a developer can post absolutely confidentially that they've got units. We don't disclose the address. We don't disclose any images. Just, for example, 50 units in downtown Miami. We don't provide any data. The interested fund or investor, we've got about 350 investors now on the platform that have raised their hand and said, we want to buy this type of asset. They have to fill out a non-disclosure, a non-circumvent. Then we go back to the seller, say, here's who the interested buyer is. And only then do we release the information so that, again, the developer can have confidence in the fact that it's not going to be pushed out to every other broker in the world, and that it's not going to interrupt their consumer-facing retail sales, and it's not going to help, or hurt their relationships with their existing lenders.
That's amazing, Rich. How do you get leads?
So, as the demand is overwhelming. Like I said, we've got about 350 investors. We're slowly building a list. So the demand for these types of distressed assets are, very significant. The biggest challenge for us is getting inventory. Since November, we've grown inventory to about $300 million worth of assets, spread across probably 10 bulk deals. And slowly but surely, as banks terminate their deferment programs, and as developers start to really do an internal look and say, geez, is the market going to come back? Would I rather have this bag of money, or do I want to sit and hope that I can continue to sell onesies and twosie units? I think we're going to continue to see more inventory. I've got a deal for you. Before we jumped on this call, someone reached out to me and said, hey, do we have someone, their construction lender bailed on a 25 unit condo project. They've got 30% pre-sold. And they said, do we have anyone that could potentially fill the hole? So I got it. After the call, I'll sort of connect you and let's see if I can help push some business back to you.
Listen, we're going to talk more about this because it's a great match for my financial sources, which we're doing, like I said, the $85 million inventory loan right now. We're looking at 2 more. I could probably almost guess which deals they are when you see when I look at the list on the site. But I'm happy to work with you on a very confidential basis, and we'll talk about it off screen. But the reality is, I think that for us to work together, it's almost like you'd have to call the guy that has the inventory and tell him about the idea. I don't want to disturb it. But we'll talk. Look at me, I'm thinking on the radio here.
There's a couple of opportunities. There's to provide, like you said, condo inventory loans to some of the developers who say, you know what, I'm not ready to bulk sell, but I want to refinance my inventory. So there's an opportunity there.
That's what we're doing right now. We're doing inventory loans.
And then there's an opportunity for some of the buyers who show up and say, look, I'm going to buy these assets, whether it's 10, 20, 50, whatever the discount that they were able to negotiate. Those guys need financing as well. So, we'd be happy to work with you and your financing.
And we could close in a time frame that's consistent with their ability to get the discount. Either they could close all cash and we can close within a couple of weeks, or if they want, we can just close with them in a couple of weeks. It just takes 2 weeks for us.
Nice. And what we've also found by sort of getting into this, it's not just distress. We see there's going to obviously be another cycle at some point, and we think that this time around, we've got an opportunity to help developers on the front end. So bulk buying 30, 40% of the building through investors to help accelerate the financing for developers. So it's not just distress by selling remaining inventory, but it's helping with the bulk pre-sales. And
look, it's not distressed. I don't think it's going to be distressed. But, for people that have inventory that's hard inventory right now, all you really want to do is do a time shift with them. You just need to move it 6 months ahead out of this COVID cone. Oh, I actually kind of like that concept, the COVID cone. Anyway, so, Rich, just real simply, we've only got a couple of minutes left. Your site's been up for how long?
It's been up since November. So we're really, 90 days in.
That's great.
We're excited. We've got a lot of traction. We've had, for each deal that we distribute, we get anywhere from 30 to 50 sort of executed NDAs. We've got multiple letters of intent on a bunch of the bulk assets already. We're moving towards a closing on one of the projects. So it's effective. Our challenge is getting out in front of developers, getting them comfortable with the fact that all of the assets are absolutely confidential. A couple of developers have come to us and said, look, I don't want to put the deal on the site, but you can have it as a pocket listing so you can go out to your audience and promote it. So we've got 2 developers who've taken that path with us, and we're excited about it. I just want to go back to what John said and connect. As a Gator dad, I just want to throw in there that I'm super happy that UF is taking on the scholarship program through their business school. So
Kelly is tremendous. Kelly is an amazing person that you'll hopefully someday meet. Mm-hmm. He gave me my first internship. That was my first internship, was from Kelly at JMB. And I'm helping them place a older minority student right now who's very difficult because of the fact that he's 32 and has a tremendous background, but it's tough to start somebody off. So, but to me, a guy like that would be a banker, great for a bank. So each person's different. I work real hard with every person from UF Real Estate School that reaches out to me. Black, white, yellow, purple, I don't care, as long as they're smart, because the UF program's goal is to lead real estate. So how are you going to lead real estate if you leave a whole half of the population behind?
Yep.
Rich, I love you.
It's a great program. I think we just want to send blessings to the Lambert family, part of the UF community as well. There was a terrible tragedy where the daughter got hit with a terrible car accident this weekend, and it's reverberated through the UF community, the South Florida community. Right where I lived. It was right in front of the business school. Blessings and love to that family and help them get through this crisis, while we've got a couple minutes together.
Rich, I love you. You're one of the most sensitive people I know. You're tremendous. And I know that together We're going to implement a plan on the bulkcondodeal.com, and we're going to help you effectuate good business for good people.
Thank you, man. Appreciate being here for, again, the 600 show. Real big props to you. It's not tough creating the content day in and day out, coming in here, getting guests. It's a challenge, and you sort of dug deep and you've done it. And congratulations to you and all of your advertisers and all the guests that show up. So super proud of you and what you've accomplished through it.
Thank you so much, Rich, because you're one of my inspirations on a marketing basis. And, I watched you guys dominate the web in the early days. And so I watched how to do it. And I learned a lot from watching you and your team. And I want to thank you so much. You've been there since the beginning. So when you say about the growth, it really means a lot to me, very much. God bless you.
God bless you and Vivian. I'll connect you with this 25-unit deal that the guy's looking for, a white angel to show up and help him out of a jam with a construction lender that bailed on him. So there may be an opportunity.
We'll help. It's all about helping good people. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Crossman's partner just sent us a text saying what a great time it was. And we're going to go right now. We're going to go to a quick break, and then we're going to talk to my good friend, Adam Lipkin. Adam has been on. He's been one of my inspirations on social media. Adam and I are going to talk about some of my great guests, including Rich, that have been on in the last 13 years and 600 episodes. So rock on. Stick with us if you want to have some fun. It's coming up right now. And Rich, God bless you, the family, Mike, everybody else. I love you, man.
Good job running the machine. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, we'll be back after this with my good friend Adam Lipkin, the C-Pace guy, talking real estate, talking radio, talking all about you. Back after this. Everybody, you know that the whole theory today is that this is my 600 show. There's C-Pace guy. We're South Florida's longest running business talk show. I want to give a shout out to the first responders, and I want to thank the folks at Warren Henry Automotive, starting with Samantha, and then I'm going to include Larry, Warren, and Eric, all our contacts there. They're so tremendous. Abe at Lamborghini, we love you all. Remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audi. Down in the Keys, they sell them all. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all part of the Warren Henry family. You get the Warren Henry advantage, too. That means you get complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, the 72-hour exchange. And, of course, that's my favorite. You get 3 days to decide whether you like the Warren Henry car. You will. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be, too. Always the best service. Always the best price. Always Warren Henry. Hey, everybody, and if you need real estate capital, give me a call at 305-773-6300. In fact, we're doing all kinds of business, construction loans, bridge loans, land loans. Gosh, I'm losing track. Inventory loans for condos like we're going to do with Rich. So give me a call at 305-773-6300. Residential loans for folks that need some help. If they don't have a W-2, call me. I can help. 305-773-6300. From 300,000 to 300 million, I got you covered. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freedom Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freedom Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're here with my good friend Adam Lipkin. Is it okay if I call you my good friend Adam?
Of course, buddy. Good to see you.
All right. Adam Lipkin, the C-Pace guy, TM. And, we're here talking real estate. We're talking about my track record and the things that I've done on the radio show. What's up, Adam? What's on your mind?
Happy New Year, Jim. Good to be with you as always, my friend. All good, man.
Happy New Year. So listen, Adam, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we've talked about over the years. You know, I've had all kinds of crazy guests on my show. I think that my favorite...
My crazy guest?
Yeah, a lot of great guests. My favorite guest, my favorite show, my favorite guest, of course, was when we brought Vivian on with her kidney donor and the kidney doctors. That was obviously my favorite show, my favorite guest, but it showed the power of kidney about the radio and social media. Before that, we had live kidney donors on like AJ Gindy from Renewal and Beanie Mason, Greg Mason's wife, who's an amazing story. So that's like my biggest accomplishment, I think.
I think so. I mean, what's bigger than that? You know, you saved your wife's life. You basically were able to get out the most important thing that was happening, which was she needed a kidney. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, it was beyond inspiring.
It was very difficult to do because I had to put myself on the line, and he didn't know how people would would respond. You know, we were having a lot of issues. Now, this
can I say one quick thing? One quick thing.
I would just go like this and interrupt me, man. It's cool.
When your why is bigger than you, all those things kind of like that was a bigger thing. It was way bigger than you. And so it didn't even matter. Like some people are like, you know, he's talking about this. I think that your why was so powerful that it just cuts through all that crap.
Okay.
It was.
Okay. I agree. Okay. I don't know how to think about it. You know, I sometimes don't have the
That's it. There's a Simon Sinek book called Begin With Why. That why is as big as it gets, you know, saving my wife's life. I mean, that's it, man. Doesn't matter how it looks. I'm going to do it.
She's tremendous.
That's it. No kidding.
I quit my job to do it.
That's it.
Now, one of the most interesting guests, Khalila Ali, Muhammad Ali's first wife. She was tremendous. We've had her on twice. Now, what does she do? Well, she talks about civil rights. She talks about Ali when Ali was getting the racial thing about not going into the army. And then she starts to channel Ali. And she starts to talk about, I feel like a butterfly. She sounded just like him. It was amazing. I thought that the greatest of all time was right there in the room with me. It was amazing. Let's see what else was good.
Man, 600 though. You got a lot to pop in there, right? What? Yeah, I'd love to hear this. What stands out? What really?
Well, there was Abogado Gigante, the big attorney. My 1000th interview was Cesar Alvarez from Greenberg. And what we talked about was how Cesar built Greenberg in the face of all of the issues that were coming up. And, you know, he was, you know, Jewish guys, Latin guys coming together, building a company, and then maintaining their corporate culture, which Greenberg has a pretty strong corporate culture across all those other offices. He was tremendous.
Yeah. So interesting. I feel like that theme of culture comes out so much, and it's like the most important thing is your people and the culture. And then sometimes you just find more and more companies, they just neglect it at their own demise. I mean, it's just really one of those things where everybody could have their widget and they could have something that, you know, is a shiny object. But if you're not really bringing in the people and having a culture that keeps you excited, how do you really last? You know, I mean, it's just, I think it's, I don't know. What do you think about that? I feel like a lot of companies.
I think it's a very important thing to have a continuation of energy. I think that organizations have a certain type of energy. I've left organizations because of their bad energy. I've tried to create good energy at organizations and found out how difficult it is and had that almost eat me alive. Yeah. So what I've decided would be to only surround myself with people with good energy and to probably not have a big company, because I want to get involved and help people. And when I have a big company, and I would feel responsible for every person from their youngest child to their grandparents. And it's just too much for me to handle.
It's interesting. I was on I remember I was telling you about that Clubhouse app, right? I don't know if you got on it or not, but I
looked at it. I'm going to talk with my team about it later today because it looks like something interesting, but I have to understand how to implement it, because it seems to me like what it is it's like how to do an instant podcast with multiple people, something like that.
It would be a somewhat a similar format with audio. But the only reason I bring it up is I was in this room earlier with these guys that they do what you do well, what I'm trying to do better, which is establish a personal brand. And they were talking about that a lot of companies are very adversarial and really fight a lot of the employees that are trying to create that personal brand. And so it creates a real lot of conflict because you'll have somebody at a big company that wants to maybe put out their message on LinkedIn or whatever it is, and they get pushback. But what the whole concept was and what they were talking about, that's really where your leverage is. I think like for you, you have this great personal brand. You have a great following. There's people that want to be able to align with you. And so it's no different. What I was saying that even within a company, if you could show results and you're able to actually leverage that personal brand into business, you kind of get a little bit of different treatment, right? You kind of could go a little bit past that. Like if you're bringing in business to the company, you could kind of get a little bit of a pass compared to the person that's just trying to do it. So my feedback was, get some success with it, and you might be able to get a little bit better treatment than if you're trying to ask for permission to do more branding when you're at a company that maybe isn't jumping at it. What do you think about the whole idea of people getting a personal brand? I'm curious.
Well, I think there's two things there. First of all, I think that the person needs to opt out of the company if they are not allowing them to do what they want to do. So I think that that's just an inconsistent alignment of interests. I don't think,
there's a way to align, because I almost wonder, are there ways that if I'm a company in the future, I'm thinking that my differentiator is to create alignment with my employees to actually help foster it. No?
Let me finish. You're jumping in the wrong direction. Okay. My personal opinion, that's the way I'll start it. My personal opinion is that the person that wants to do their personal brand at a company that won't allow them should leave. Find a place that will. Okay. Now I think that the company, they should have a personal brand, whatever their personal brand is. They need to make the determination whether or not they're going to allow people outside of that personal brand, or whether the people are going to be allowed to make their own brand inside, or if they have to push just the one brand. And I think that that is a corporate decision that needs to come from the top, and then it has to be collaborated with, and either you buy in to be one of the cogs, or you're allowed to be a complementary cog, or you're just an outlier and you're going to get crushed.
Yeah.
That's it. There is no other place.
I agree. Opinion. I'm with you on that.
And so I think that companies that are successfully evolving would be places that would accommodate more open ideas.
Yeah. I like your guy, Turkel. I think he has some really great ideas. And I know that he's really resonated with you. I wonder what the take is on, I think he's a believer that it makes sense for everybody to build more of a brand, but it seems like it's even more important now than ever in where we're going. I think people really need to take on that. You need to look at yourself more as a brand. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that everybody, well, first of all, all my episodes with Bruce Turkel are great. Perhaps the best one was at the end of the year when we talked about being flexible into the new year.
Yeah.
Ask me the question again.
I just think it's important for everybody to be thinking about building a personal brand. It's not just anymore like people that if you're maybe like just in sales, I think it serves you better if you have more of a brand these days. And I think it's only going to serve you more and more as we get into the future. It kind of keeps you having more leverage, I think. I
think everybody has a personal brand. Some people just don't know what it is.
Totally. I get that.
So, we used to maybe call it your external perception or whatever. I forget what we used to call it in business school.
Your reputation, all that stuff, Yeah.
But the reality is that you can't hide who you are. Maybe some people can, but it's very difficult, especially in today's world where it's remote networking.
Yeah.
And, so it's very difficult. If you're not authentic, people are going to know within 30 seconds.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you about my worst interview. How about that? Let's talk about my worst interview.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh, my worst interview's on your feed. Okay. Now you know who it is. Some guy prospected me, projected that he was the king of the internet, wanted to charge me $2,500 to teach me how to use LinkedIn. Oh yeah, I'll tell you later. And he just started polluting my chain. I still have reverberations of his other people in my chain. But when I see they're linked to him, I get rid of them because I find them, I call it a poser.
Yeah.
The guy got on my show, and first thing he did was wouldn't let us show his name of his company because he was switching companies. We were from some like panel boardroom, really grainy, and I cut him off in the middle. Because he was pirating my brand to build his brand, and his brand was bringing mine down.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk about that offline. I want to take a break, and then Adam and I are going to give some more really cool insights. Stay with us. This is actually getting tremendous. This is worth permits and the inauguration over. By the way, I'm taping it. Back after this, Mr. Mendoza. All right, everybody, we're South Florida's longest running business talk show. I say that without threat of being corrected. We're on show 600. It's year like 13. I want to thank our sponsors for most of it. Warren Henry Automotive. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Larry. I said thank you, Larry. Thank you, Warren. Hey, everybody, and thank you, AB, up at Lamborghini. I love the Lamborghini store. And when you're looking to buy or lease a car, Floyd, high five to Floyd. When you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out my friends at Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up in Gainesville. They sell Audis. Those are hot cars, too. Down in the Keys, they sell all kinds of name brands. You can go there and get a Jeep. So what do they have in common? Well, they're all great cars. They come with the Warren Henry Advantage. A whole bundle of things you get. Complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, the 72-hour exchange. You can exchange your car for 3 days if you don't like it. No one does because they love them. So join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best service, always the best price, always Warren Henry.
Hey, this is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
She's great. She helps me with all my marketing. She's really good. So is Reagan Mendoza. I love you too, Reagan. You're the greatest. Hey, call me if I can help you with your real estate problem. I'm helping a guy finance his high-rise apartment building, $150 million. Helping him do his deal out on the West Coast, $75 million. I'm helping friends with their home loans from $300 to $3 million. So give me a call if I can help you solve your real estate problem. Doesn't matter how big. Every single time when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back for the final segment of show 600, and then it's on to show 700. Oh, yeah, there'll be one of those too. We're here with my good friend Adam Limpkin, the C-Pace guy. Hey, Adam.
How's it going, Jim?
It's going great. And we're talking about some of my great shows and my experiences. What else you got up your sleeve, Adam?
I was just hearing 600, and I wonder what the stat is on people that get to even 10. It's like
none,
right? I mean,
none.
It's like
none.
It's
I remember the radio station. None.
It's probably like 5%, or I mean, it's wild because you hear so many people. Want to do a podcast, and I'm even dealing with this now. Like I just launched one for like the third time, right? And it's just like it really takes something to do 600 episodes, man. I mean, super impressive. Major acknowledgement, man. I wanted to start with that. And then the other thing, and hopefully you'll do another show with me. But one of the things I love to get into is I just like that theme of silver linings. I think that comes up a lot. And you try to get people in that mindset during this pandemic that what could be good in the face of this challenge. And so, just kind of flip it on you. you think about doing 600 episodes, and there's probably key moments and milestones where you hit a wall. There was probably a breakdown, and some people call it quits, at episode 5 or 10 or 50. And I find that the people that break through, they did so after that breakdown. Like they were able to stay with it, and they found like a way to grow past it. So I'll just ask you, like, as you were growing in this, the show, and you were early on in it, and you were at episode 10 or 50 or 100, what was the thing that stopped you that you said, I just don't know. I'm just maybe done with it. And you stuck with it, and you broke through, and maybe it achieved a higher level of success for you. If you remember one of those moments.
Oh, you're going to hate me. Never.
Think harder.
This thing has been on the roll the whole way.
All right, let me jog.
Okay.
I'm going to jog your memory. I'm going to jog your memory.
I got the answer.
The pandemic, you had to pivot to this.
I have the answer.
That's a simple example.
No, I have the answer. They closed the radio station. You were fishing for that. They closed the radio station. So I had to decide whether I was going to go keep doing a radio show or switch over to the internet. I'm very glad I switched over to the internet. There's radio stations that call me regularly to come back on, but I don't want to do it because I call being on the radio watering the lawn. That means anybody can listen, but what I do is really directed. I don't mind if everybody listens. In fact, one of the coolest things, I was trying to get up to the baseball game at the end of the season a couple of years ago, and it was Nikki was campaigning. I had Nikki Fried's tag on, and one of the police officers comes up to me and goes, "Are you Jim Fried?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "We love your show." It was great. Now, he doesn't listen, I guess, because I'm on the internet, but maybe he does. So I'm not sure. I'm thinking about doing a mortgage-only show on this station in Palm Beach with my my residential mortgage partner. So the answer is, yeah. I see. I didn't think about it. You asked your question, but you didn't get me until you asked it again.
So that's a good example.
The switch online.
And I think you did break through. I was going to say, I think you did break through to another level, that you had been doing the radio show. I mean, did you get to 500 episodes? I mean, it was like around this time last year. Yeah,
we had like 570 episodes on the radio or something.
Yeah. So so March comes, April comes, they probably shut down the building, can't do it anymore. And I imagine there were some choices you had to make, like, how am I going to do this? Right. I don't know if it was a day or a week or how long it took, but I feel this is a breakthrough because now you have control over your format. You could do it, and you learned how to innovate to do it live in this format. You could do it on all these social media platforms. That would fit the mold that I'm talking about. There was a breakdown, can't do the radio show the way we've been doing it, and I had a breakthrough to now do it in an even cooler format. So I like seeing those patterns in a lot of people's paths. So that was one I would say for sure I'm aware of.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't even thought of that. But yeah. That is where we did break through and did do it. I'm getting ready to do stuff like that again. In the CBD world, I'm working with Manny on a CBD deal where Manny and I are going to hopefully go into business together, and it'll be really tremendous. And then that'll be another gear shift because I've always done the deal by deal thing. It'd be nice to have a cash flowing business, and Manny's just tremendous. Remember, I'm trying to surround myself only with good people.
Yeah. Yeah. What's something else that like maybe stands out for you? I feel like over 600 episodes, what was something that you found was just powerful and you got some really good feedback in the community? Somebody said, we talked about, really being able to crowdsource a kidney. I mean, pretty incredible in itself. Tell me a little bit more about like, what have you found that was just like that, like magical? So like, wow, unexpected, absolutely shocking. And you were like awestruck by it. Besides, I mean, that's it. That's probably it. But we've been talking about that. Anything else that like comes to mind?
I really have to think, but another really good thing was we had this guy, Andrew Morton, on, who is the attorney for Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
And we were able to put Angelina Jolie together with Kind Snacks to help fund things with her. So I found that to be really kind of a neat, cool thing. Another cool thing was we once had the architect that was doing that runs Portman, that was doing the pitch for the convention center. And he was on live from Singapore. I got a kick out of that.
Yeah,
I got
a kick
out of that. And
I feel like that's one of your strengths. You really bring people together in a way that might not otherwise happen. It's very cool.
Yeah, well, I try to do that. I try to do that on purpose. We had a setup with Crossman that would have been tremendous. I don't want to go into it because I'm going to try to do it again later in the year.
Yeah.
But I had Crossman set up with a person who wanted to project themselves to my network that was a minority person.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example. Like, he's really passionate about that. And I find that what you do really well that I think has you stand out too is you have a number of different communities, whereas sometimes people only have one community and they're always in that community. And it's really tough for new things to come from that. I think you have this ability to bring people from different communities together. And there's breakthroughs that come of that. You know, you have new ideas, and you have the real estate community, frankly, commercial and residential. You have the cannabis community, you have the political community. I mean, you have a lot of very interesting communities that you have a lot of attention and interest from. It's a very cool thing. And bringing them together, I think you do really well.
Look, the most important thing that I try to do is come in and allow people to be themselves. I always say that my model for what I try to do is Johnny Carson, not because he was funny, but because every night is a different person as the star of the Tonight Show. Yeah. So it's really important to make people feel comfortable, allow them to speak their mind, and get them to open up and give some good information. You know, I'm not really a talk show host. What I do is I just talk to people and talk to my friends, and I ask them questions, and hopefully that makes people feel comfortable enough to give their little one or two pearls of wisdom. Sometimes I have people that just roll it out way too fast, and I try to stop them down. Sometimes my most awkward one was when I brought my dentist on, and we were going to talk about painless tooth repair. And I said, so doctor, you do painless tooth repair? Yes. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? Sure. What do you do? Painless tooth repair. I said, we'll be back after this. He wasn't, but I was.
Man, I was listening to this really good bit with Joe Rogan and Sam Harris, and they're both obviously real legends when it comes to this space. And they're talking about how do you move guests that are just like that? And they're talking about, like, you got to really be masterful sometimes when it comes to like a very monotone and very few words.
Yeah,
guests.
Typically I call them out on it.
Yeah.
It always
That's the way to do it. That's smart.
It always works. I go, would you mind if I help you?
Yeah.
You know,
being entertaining.
Listen, I really appreciate having you on today. We're going to do another one, in a few months, just like we did a couple months ago. We'll do another one. Awesome, I really can't thank you enough. You're tremendous. I watch what you do with Beth and with Barry and everybody. It's really nice. Yeah, you can DM me to find out who the bad person in your feed is. And we can go from there. But I want to remind everybody, we're South Florida's longest running business talk show. This was show 600. Thank you, Warren Henry. Thank you to the first responders, healthcare heroes. Thank you to my niece. Oh, yeah, I forgot all the interviews with my niece, the commissioner of agriculture for the state of Florida. Oh, my God, how could I leave that out?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks to Warren Henry. Thanks to the NFL Alumni Association, Creco AI, Crossman International, Turkel Brands, the Bertram Center for Real Estate Studies, my good friend Adam Lipkin, the C-Pace guy. Please go to our Facebook page, like our show, tell your friends, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. We're on everything. If you missed today's show, it'll be up real soon. You can check it out almost immediately on LinkedIn. Next week, what is next week? I can't even remember what we're doing next week because I was so focused on this week, but it'll be tremendous. I know it will because I programmed it. So remember, the person wants to do something, finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. You like that, don't you, Adam?
Love it.
God bless you, and God bless America. Woo!